Okay, so you've got 3 studio albums.
I do.
Book of Proverb, Manuscript,
Yes.
and Rite of Passage.
That's right.
Which for me is already a great achievement in an industry such as ours. We all know how hard it is to release albums, and some people may underestimate that. But
Yeah.
you know, even just releasing one album is a huge
it's a big
achievement.
feat, yeah.
Absolutely. What are the difficulties you experienced as a non-vernac hip-hop artist in SA?
It was just that, you know, a lot of the attack initially was just, you're not vernac, or you're trying to be American, oh, you're not this and that, you're not street enough for us, you're not this and that and the other.
Did that happen like from right from the beginning?
Not initially, no. It only sort of became an argument when a lot of vernac rappers started emerging, you know.
Okay.
So I was almost like a year, you know, the time I released, I was sort of a year before the emergence of a lot of the vernac stuff. You know, I mean, it was in existence already.
Yeah.
Your Mother Loads, your Ammunitions, guys were already dabbling in vernac.
Yes.
But there was like a strong emergence of it,
Yeah.
you know, 2004, 2005.
The Squatter Camps and Jabbers.
Exactly. That's when a lot of those debates started surfacing. But I think it was healthy to have all those discussions, because it prepared us for now. But and also because I stuck to my guns, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think I don't speak vernac. Hell, I'm a Motswana. What do you think I speak?
Yeah.
It's just that it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do music in a...
Well, I mean, I know. Look, I mean, I can speak, you know, several languages.
Yeah.
Maybe not fluently, but I certainly can't write in those languages. My brain writes in
You just
English.
express yourself best in this particular language,
For sure.
right?
I mean, I know some people, you know, who speak Portuguese and also, you know, in various languages, but they just can't seem to get, lyrically speaking, into those languages. And I think...
Also, I don't know about you, but don't you find you take a defense? The minute somebody says, oh, you're not a real musician, why don't you play the guitar? You're like, you know what, I'm not going to play the guitar, in fact. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to do what I do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, there was a lot of the rapper ego that was like, you know what, I'm definitely not going to do vernac, especially because you say, you know, and just stick to your guns.
Yeah.
That's also part of the rapper ego.
Do you still have that rapper ego, my man?
You know what? I think you still need it, especially in rap circles. You need a certain air of confidence. Obviously, it's all under the blanket of humility, but you still need a relative, you know, because to get up on a stage and to say, listen to how dope I am, already that says you have a lot of self-belief, you know. So I think it just shouldn't be confused, with arrogance.
Confidence, not arrogance.
Exactly. There's a thin line,
Yeah, I hear you. Alrighty. Okay, so now let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
You're a little boy.
Yes.
Musically, what music is playing in your house, in your household? What are you being influenced by musically? I mean, I guess we're talking here 80s.
You know what? I think I was very ignorant to the music that was around me.
Okay.
It's only, I suppose, older that I became conscious of it and then had to sort of work backwards.
Okay.
That's when I start thinking of, you know, I used to take these long trips with my dad. You know? He had no problem driving to Cape Town or something. And he used to be like a jazz man, you know, or he used to be like a Toto kind of man. Because it's only now when you hear those songs that you're like, you know, I remember Rosanna, man. That used to, you know, do you know what I'm saying? No, so yeah, he was that kind of dude. I remember he once bought me the Michael Jackson. It was it the Dangerous album, the one with the mask on the cover?
Dangerous, 90, 91, 92.
Exactly. Yeah. He would get me into those kind of things. Myself in the 90s though, when I started being in a position to buy my own music, that's when I would buy your All For Ones. I remember I went and bought that cassette.
All For One.
All For One, brother. I swear.
And the rest.
I liked Dr. Alban. Is that weird? It's My Life. Hello, Africa.
Look, okay. They were huge songs.
Dude,
I mean, I grew up in that era as well.
Dude, the cassette was
Sing
yellow.
Hallelujah was pretty cool.
Thank you. The cassette was yellow. I remember that, like the physical cassette.
Yeah, but what was he doing? I mean, it's just out of interest because it wasn't really rapping. It was
It wasn't really rapping, man. But you know who else was hot at that era? Snow.
I was going to say that, man.
Because those are my CDs.
Informer.
All For One, Snow, Dr. Alban, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zero.
Well, just, you know that cassette CD changeover period?
Oh yes.
That's when it started happening, where
Yeah.
you would buy a CD, but there weren't a lot of places to play. Like, not everyone had a
Yeah.
CD player or
So
something.
you normally go back and get the cassette anyway. I still love cassettes,
Ah,
man.
man, they should bring them back.
No,
just
they really
just for,
should.
right?
I think so. Why not? You know.
Yeah.
I remember double tape
Yeah.
decks. I used to do all these recordings.
Man,
and stuff.
where you put tissue at the back of it?
Yeah, man.
I know. There was a point my Dr. Alban CD had like Mutsweding on it or something. You know?
Yeah, we all did that.
Yeah.
I don't like this anymore. Oh,
Yeah.
the joy. Okay. Big question, especially right now.
Hmm.
Hip hop versus house.
Yeah. You know, I think those are two distinct genres. They both have a place, obviously, in SA. A lot of them draw from global influence, you know, because they are global. I don't want to call them genres. They're global cultures, man. Hip hop is a culture, and so is house.
Yeah.
You know, now being thrown together, for me, is a mistake. I agree with a lot of the changes, you know, that they're making, pairing some of these things up. For instance, like to make the cultural group.
Mm.
I almost agree with that to an extent, but I think
It's an urban thing, but it's...
hip hop and house are very distinct,
Yeah.
and they
Okay.
coexist, but they're not the same.
I mean, I remember thinking or talking about this a couple of
Yeah.
years ago, which is you had, okay, for example, Kwaito,
Yeah.
which was sort of mid-tempo house beats,
Yes.
you know, with fairly repetitive lines.
Yes.
And then a lot of those Kwaito guys started adding a lot of lyrical content.
Versus,
you know,
yeah.
I remember Cabello doing a lot of that. You
Mm.
know, he had his hook, but he had these verses in between, which had a lot of lyrical
Yeah.
content. And then, for example, you have your JR doing something like Show Them,
Yes.
and all that. Do you think it's kind of blurred lines between, again, like house, hip hop, Kwaito, you know?
Yeah.
And do you think there needs to still be defined barriers, or is this us searching for the South African
I think
thing?
you can say that same argument with every single genre of music, because you can take elements. It could be reminiscent of a particular style,
Yeah,
and whatever.
yeah.
But I think there's still very clear lines.
Okay.
You know, and whether it's important to keep those lines or not is really up to the evolution of music,
Sure.
further down the line.
Yeah.
You know, but right now, I think, you know, I think they're still too far apart to call them the same thing.
For the most part. I think the other thing is that we need definition. We need to define things. I'm not saying everything can completely be defined, but you know, it's like when someone says to you, what kind of music do you listen to? You know, a lot of people love that word called eclectic.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of things. I've got a very eclectic taste. It sounds fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a nice way.
I'm sure I could potentially use it or whatever.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I know that for the most part, for example, I still listen to probably, I don't know, 80% soul music
Yeah.
or something like that, you know. So at the end of the day, I'm a soul guy, you know.
Sure.
And I know musically speaking, I may dabble in a bit of rock and feature on a hip hop track,
That's
or whatever,
it.
you know, but or house. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm a soul guy, you know.
Yeah,
And I think that's why you still need definitions. You know?
Exactly. And listen, it's okay for you know, gray areas where, you know, there's, say, hip hop soul, or, you know, or R&B jazz,
Because it's crossover.
because it's crossover, you know. I think that's a healthy development of music, you
Yeah.
know. But it's still jazz.
Yeah.
Or it's still soul.
Yeah.
It's still hip hop.
Understood. Fair.
And I hope there are new genres develop in the future.
And I think there will be. I think
Yeah.
people still have to experiment, you know.
That's it. That's it.
All right. You've been around long enough to have seen how SA music has changed and keeps changing. Well, I guess we've just spoken about this.
Yeah.
So I don't even need to ask this anymore, okay? I screwed it up. I didn't realize this was the next question. I forgot what my questions were.
Amateurs.
Okay, I can't ask this. Do you
Yeah.
think SA has found its sound yet? Is there an SA sound? Is there a way to define it? Because Kwaito is not Kwaito anymore. Afro-pop's not necessarily Afro-pop anymore. Motswako, you know.
Yeah. What I think what we have been able to do is take existing sounds
Yeah.
and give them a South African flavor. I think that's what we've been able to do successfully. So whether we can call it our own sound, you know, I guess that's a harder question to answer. But have we been able to take existing sounds and give them our own spin? Definitely. I think by so saying, I'm also saying that we do have a sound. Am I
Fair
not?
enough. You are.
I am, hey.
You are. You pretty much said that. So thank you. You could have just said yes. But I thank you for your long explanation.
I'm thorough, what can I say?
That's, well, it shows in your lyrics, doesn't it?
That?
I mean, you've got great lyrical content, man.
Well, thank you, man. You know, but
you really do. I mean, like...
The thing with music is this, though. This has always been my quagmire and my challenge. Is that sometimes we don't have support for good music. And that includes content and all the others.
I agree.
And by that I mean, you do the cheesiest, most bubblegum, your weakest effort.
Yeah.
You know, where you're like, you know, in this song I gave 30%. Yeah. I just showed up.
And it blows up.
And that song will be a hit. Then you pour your heart and your soul, man, and your blood into this
and one and that's stuff you want people to listen to.
Exactly. And then that one won't necessarily get the support. And by support, I'm talking, you know, radio. Yeah. I'm talking marketing, promotion, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, man. I could not agree with you more. Okay. So here is a question I have to ask.
Here's the humdinger. Bring it.
This is the dumb hinger.
Yeah.
If you could start your own reality singing competition.
Yes.
Okay. And pick a panel of judges.
Goodness.
Who would you pick?
The problem is, my panel would be like 50 people. Just because...
Top 10.
My word, man. First of all, I would take... I would tap into our heritage. So in other words, I would go to an elder.
Okay.
I would take like a Reipiri. Just because they still understand pureness, you know. We too tainted, we too influenced by technology, all the developments and sounds and whatever and tweaking and this
and the now thing, the new thing.
They still, you know, very much purists.
Yeah.
So I would take like a Reipiri. Then I would they don't have to be alive, eh?
They don't have to be alive. This is Fantasy League.
Okay, cool. Then I would take like the great Brenda Fassie.
Yeah.
Because for me, nobody understood showmanship, performance, presentation like she did.
And I guess sadly so, you could almost say the same thing for like a Lebo Matosa. You know?
Exactly.
Let's say that too. They're both gone.
I would put it. In fact, the two of them, you know, they'd be my coaches.
Yeah.
You know, for that kind of
stage performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then I would also tap into, you know, the international scene, because you ultimately want a global appeal.
Yeah.
So for me, I would take, and I don't know, a lot of people don't like her, but I would take like a Celine Dion. Because for me, as far as just being meticulous on things like pitch and notes and whatever, she's in there.
Yeah.
Then I'll take somebody like a Prince, because I think Prince is a little bit mad, and I think all musicians are
a little nuts.
A little bit nuts, and he is able to tap into that.
It's like you don't really know what he would say.
That mad.
He could be like Simon Cowell, but worse kind of thing.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then just to complete my panel, I would take like a Speaker. Just to say
local flavor.
Yeah, just say what makes the say. Yeah, what makes it, and Speaker Joe, you can't play with these bass lines. That guy's for me that guy is a good producer, man. He could do it.
Yeah, he's a great producer.
He could, and this is now back to that. Do we have an essay sound? If anybody knows what it is, he does.
He does. That's true. and the funny thing is, I think when guys go to him,
they know they want that touch.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That'll be my panel. What do you think?
Amen. I think that's
Would
cool.
you change anything in there?
Well, look, I mean, it became quite a fantasy league. I mean, I'm quite happy with Prince.
Right.
You know, that's because I'm obsessed with Prince. But, I like your choices. I think Celine would be a great choice, because she is a great technical vocalist. And I think it's sad that we've lost people like Lebo Matosa or Brenda who were great performers. I mean, I've heard stories of where they outperformed international artists when they went
I
touring.
can believe it.
And Ray, man, you know, he's also legendary.
I'll tell you, I was privileged enough to perform with them at Makufe, because I did a remake of Tell Me. So I saw them rehearse.
Yeah.
And it was in that rehearsal that I saw another side I didn't realize still exists.
And it's that live thing. It's the energy that an ensemble of musicians together can create.
But also, like, are you that fussy to say to your drummer, listen, man, the skin on your snare is off pitch?
You know, and a lot of guys
do we have purists like that?
Yeah.
And he was that kind of dude. He would pay so much attention and say, you know, when you play that chord, your third note, that's not the one. That should be an augmented third.
This is Ray talking.
This is Ray. Well, sure, he wasn't using the technical terms. I'm just trying to illustrate how much attention to detail he was paying. Yeah. And I feel like now we could just auto cue it, change it, whatever, and we don't care so much for the pureness of.
They are quick fixes. People don't actually learn to.
The full musicianship, man.
Yeah. I hope that comes back one day. Okay.
It's up to us.
Last question.
Oh, man.
If there was one rapper I could collab with before I retired, it would be you.
What?
Yeah.
It's long overdue, man. You owe me.
It's probably like a decade overdue.
Let's do it. Now it's even recorded, man. Okay. You are all my witnesses.
It's cast in stone, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
So well, there you go. So you already said yes.
Done deal. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So basically then...
it's the matter of doing it, right?
You're the last collab before I close the door on my artistic career.
I don't know what that means, but listen,
come on, man.
The collab is happening. Let's do it.
No, I'm there. Thank you, Mr. Pro.
RJ, this was actually such a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, man. And thank you so much, dude. It's been a long time coming, man.
Nice one.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Cheers, bro.
Cool.
That's it.
Sheesh, RJ, that was...